Alright, welcome to a lesson on segment and angle bisectors. So we're actually going to start some geometry stuff. So first, some definitions. Midpoint is the exact middle point of a segment, so it's the spot right in the middle. A bisector is a segment, ray, or line that bisects a segment or angle. What does bisect mean? Basically, bisecting means it cuts it in half. So a segment bisector is a segment, ray, or line that bisects a segment, and an angle bisector is a segment, ray, or line that bisects an angle. So let's talk about segment bisectors. So here we have segment ABC, and it's being bisected by line B. But we don't actually know that yet because it's not indicated. Now, from our definitions, we know that bisect means cut in half. So if we bisect AC, that means that AC is cut in half. So we know that AB plus BC is going to equal all of our AC. So we know that if we take the two halves and add them together, we'll get the whole. But there's a unique thing here where that AB is also equal to BC. And if two segments are equal, we can also say that they are congruent. So we can also say that AB is congruent to BC. And congruence we use when we're talking about an idea or an object. So we're saying that that segment is congruent to that segment. The idea of them are. I'm not going to say the word same because it's not same. They're congruent. Congruent means that they're also equal. So if you see something that says it's congruent, that means that it's also equal. So to indicate congruence on a segment, we're going to put dashes. And you see that I put one dash on AB and one dash on BC. That means that they are congruent to each other. They both have one dash, so they're both congruent to everything with one dash. So let's say we know how much AB is. Let's say that AB is 5. Well, because it's a bisector, and AB and BC are equal, that means that BC is also 5, which means that AC would be 10. So we're basically looking at a bunch of segments that are just cut in half. And we're going to expand on this idea over here in the next example. So we have PQ, and I'm going to say that PQ is bisected by ray M. So PM and MQ are congruent because they're equal. So let's find X. So in order to find X, we're going to have to set up an equation. So we know that because PM is congruent to MQ, make a Q, that looks like a G. We know that PM is also equal to MQ. Now we can just fill in the blanks. We know how much PM is. PM equals 8. We know how much MQ is. MQ equals 2x plus 2. And look what we have now. Just a two-step equation. So we can solve that equation. So our x equals 3. Okay, here are two examples that I want you to try on your own, so go ahead and pause the video and do that now. And here are the solutions to those examples. And on the left you saw that I put AB congruent BC and AB equals BC. I did that whole thing. You don't actually have to do that every time that you answer. As long as you understand the idea and the concept, it'll be okay. So let's talk about angle bisectors. Well, an angle bisector is a segment, ray, or line that bisects an angle. So, over here on the left we have angle ABC, and I'm saying that ray BD is going to bisect it. So we have to indicate that it's being bisected. Now, like with our segments, there's a way that we show this. And with angles, you use these little curves. So, right now we have angle ABD is congruent to angle DBC. We have our two angles, they're congruent, and that tells us that BD is bisecting ABC because it's cut it in half. And the indication that angles are congruent is these little curves. If we were to put two curves, it'd be congruent to everything with two curves. You can use 3 curves, 4 curves, so on and so forth. But for now we're just going to look at this one curve. So let's say we know that ABD is 30 degrees. Well, if ABD is 30 degrees and BD is bisecting, that means that DBC is also 30 degrees. Over here on the right, we have an angle that is bisected. Forgot to put the other indicator here. So, this whole angle is 100 degrees, and we know that half of it here is this 5x plus 10, and I want to find x. So in order to figure out x, we need to figure out how much is half that angle. Well, if the whole thing's 100 and it's being bisected, it's cut in half, so we know that half of it is 50. So we know that this half is 50 degrees, which gives us 5x plus 10 equals 50 degrees. Since those two angles are congruent, they're also equal. And then it simply becomes an algebra problem. And we get that x equals 8. Okay, so here are 2 more examples for you to try on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and do that now. And here are the solutions to those examples. You'll notice on the left that you could have got it came out to be 42 over 4 and would accept 21 over 2 or 11.5, since it didn't really indicate whether we wanted a fraction or a decimal, so either one was fine. And then on the right, it was straightforward. It was a nice whole number. So that's the end of this lesson.